Hi, everyone. Happy New Year's Eve. Woo! This is kind of the perfect thing. I gotta admit, I don't love New Year's Eve. I've always thought it's sort of sad because you're saying goodbye to this year you know and looking into this kind of God knows what is coming abyss. But I've got a lot of practice now of saying goodbye. And hopefully what I'm talking about tonight is going to kind of get us really excited about the idea. Back in 2017, I really wanted to say hello to something new. I'd had enough of bad news, nasty online interactions, and just the dark, dark days of winter. And I wanted to create something that would make me feel better and maybe make other people feel better. And I work in the Media Factory, which is this amazing community media space in the South End. And we have this community radio station that's literally 2 doors down from my office. And they were having this call for new shows to be on 99.3 WBTV-LP Burlington. And I thought, I was a DJ in college. This is going to be awesome. That is totally what I'm going to do. And so I started this new show. And while I wanted to play a lot of music, because music's super inspiring to me, I also wanted to talk to people who were sort of figuring something out. You know, maybe it wasn't like they were doing the biggest thing ever, but they were working hard and they were finding like silver linings or upsides to stuff. And so the show's called The Upside. And I wanted to get away from those short conversations. So I had these like really long 45-minute conversations with people. And then we had this theme that would wrap around it. And then I'd have this music that fit the theme. And then, of course, I didn't stop there because I'm a graphic designer. So then I had these like graphics for every single show. And then I had this marketing campaign, like putting the news out about it. And then we had podcasts about it and pre-recorded, like the shows were like online so people would hear it. And it just became this like gigantic thing. And it was amazing. And sometimes really weird stuff would happen. Like I had these amazing young people from the Vermont Youth Conservation Corps come in and a microphone fell while they were talking. And one of the kids just caught it and kept talking. And it was like this, just all these sort of kismet moments where you just didn't know what was going to happen. But what happened was really, really good. And we learned like so much from each other. I hope people learned something from me. I learned a lot from everyone who came in. And I'm pretty psyched to see there's actually a few people who were on my show who were here tonight. It was great. And it really did what I wanted it to do. It made me feel good every Wednesday morning to come in at 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And I couldn't miss it, right? It's a live show. So I kind of couldn't talk myself out of doing it. But I also couldn't stop doing it. And at some point, I started to get a little behind. And one day the show would end and I'd be like, oh, who's my interview for next week? Did I email them? Is it working? And even though these were like these amazing experiences I was having, I was talking to people who were knitting in public and writing books and making films and learning how to graduate in new ways. I was also kind of starting to feel like it was a machine and it was no longer just this amazing passion project. And so I had to kind of take a breath and figure out, what can I do differently? And I actually looked around and was so fortunate. There was an amazing radio maker at the 99.3 already, Grace File, who was doing her own show, and we'd already met, and we'd had this like just nice connection. And I said, Grace, would you be my co-host? And she said, yeah. And so now there were 2 of us doing the show, and it was awesome. So we planned this fantastic fall season to the show for 2019. But as we're planning it, Grace says, you know, I should let you know I am planning to move in the spring. Ooh. And I was like, well, what do I do here? You know, like, I'm not just going to like make a new team up. I'm not going to just like look for another person. Do I try to keep this thing going or what? And together we decided, you know what? No, we're going to stop at the end of the year. We're going to make a great 11 episode season, and then we're going to call it quits. And it was perfect. We were able to relax and do this and just have this great season. All right. You know how cool it is to tell people you're a DJ? It is easily the coolest thing I've ever been in my whole life, like ever. So it's really hard to give that up. But I told someone, the first time I said it out loud to somebody, I was like, you know, I'm going to quit doing the show. And I just felt like, yeah, that's the right thing to do. It just felt right. It also, like 2 hours later, I was like, what am I doing? I'm not going to do a show anymore. But I realized, Jen, that's just grief. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to have that. You have to kind of go through that whole process. When you say goodbye, you have to let the end. And you have to have that space, because if you don't let something end, nothing else can begin. You can't just stack one life on top of another life. It's too much. And so we had this beautiful show, and we decided our very last show would be, our last live show was in December. Tomorrow morning, January 1st, 2020, 9 a.m. on 99.3 FM is the final show of the Upside. It's a year in review. I get a little weepy. It's very sweet. And we're done. We're out. And then we're celebrating. I've told everybody it's over, and I'm not going, oh, it's really sad. I'm ending my show. I'm like, I'm ending my show. Tonight, this is like the best party ever for ending a show. Like, how did this even work out like this? So I'm like, yeah, guys, we're all doing this together. Ending the show. And I've got pictures, and I've got podcasts, and I've got this whole record of all this. And the other thing that we still have is all these relationships. I see people here I know who are on my show. I will see you again. We know something about each other. All this stuff happened. It's okay that it's over. It's great. And now, if I can just be brave enough, I can wait and not say hello to something new and maybe hibernate a little and take it in before I take on the next thing. And I can tell you all very clearly, thank you and goodbye.